I buy a heck of a lot of stuff off eBay. You don't see much of it, but I buy a lot of it. Mostly because I can't get the stuff that I'm looking for. It's almost impossible to get locally. You know, some of my stuff is kind of oddball. Though to me it seems like it should be mainstream, but one of the things I'm always looking for are these fingerless gloves. Now I use them a lot. Like for a 4th of the year, they're the right thing to be wearing. I use them without the jersey gloves or with jersey gloves underneath. Either way, it gives you protection from the cold on the back of your hand, whereas that's where you lose heat. You know, it's right in here. But yet it leaves your fingers agile. I started using them a lot. Running road grader, plowing snow. Keeps your hands warm, but yet you can run all the controls. But for shooting, it's the same thing. Your hand is warm, but yet for loading and unloading and running the trigger and stuff, it's a good combination. But they're always hard to find. Or if you do find them, they're kind of weird. Like say these now, I would like these a lot better if they didn't have those on them. Because what happens when you get that plastic or little rubber nubs on there, then all of a sudden there's a right and a left to them. They aren't ambidextrous anymore. Like these are like a pair of socks. You can switch them from one to the other, it doesn't matter. These only work one way, or work decently. Or worst case, I've seen a lot of them that come with a large amount of thin slate in the back of them, which just makes them bulky and really doesn't gain you much of anything. You know, I want them just thin, but I want them wool. Because these, if you get them wet, you can wring them out and they'll dry very quickly, but even wet, they have a certain amount of insulation value to them. So like I say, you know, I like them, but they're hard to find. You can find a zillion type of gloves. They've gotten to be slightly more popular now because people use them so they can have their fingers free for texting. So they are a little bit more common. And they've always been a kind of like a fashion statement, let's say. Or in movies you'll always see the bad boys are wearing fingerless gloves, or the bikers, and they actually do make a lot of sense for a motorcycle, particularly because you can actually kill the nerves in your hands from the vibration. So it's nice to have a certain amount of padding on your palm. But like I say, hard to find. Well, I was on eBay searching around and I found a seller called Army Universe that is selling the military ones. You can get them either in black or in that OD green. But like I say, they're not bulky, so you can get them in your pocket. The thin slate ones, well, then you run into that problem. So I got a pair of them from him, and I've been testing them out. I've been very pleased with them. So I got a bunch more. And now they've got this printing on them, you know, from the government contract because they're made in this country. But it's very hard to read. But the first time you run it through the washer, that disappears because you can just wash these. Yeah, I can't really make out anything that it says on them. But they're very good gloves, and like I say, they're pretty much just plain ambidextrous. They'll fit either way. But that'll keep me going for a while. I'll probably buy some more of them just to have them on hand. Though they're not particularly cheap. They're $10 a piece, but that's with the shipping included. So, you know, this is like $50 worth of gloves. But I'm just glad to find them because, like I said, I use them a lot. But it was Army Universe. That was the guy's name, or the seller's name. But I'm pleased with them. Handy thing. I don't, you know, it's funny when people once people catch on to them, you know, for the longest time, you'd see them, you know, it was like bums and homeless people. That's what you see wearing the fingerless gloves. It got to be almost a stereotype. But they're just very practical, very handy once you get used to using them. Once people start using them, you kind of get spoiled by them. Because like right now, it's cool. It's like maybe 15 degrees. My fingertips can take the cold, but the back of your hand, that's where you lose your heat. And on your wrist, well, this takes care of that. So they're a good deal. But if you aren't familiar with them, you will never know the pleasure and the comfort.